Greetings, YouTube. In the past 20 minutes, my phone has blown up like it rarely has with anger and fear and some excitement over a controversy that surely is going to have a lot of people talking today on this Friday, August 28th, 2020. It is the release of the 28.1 version of the patch that's coming, patch 28.1, the release notes, as we always like to see it, usually in the last Friday of the month. And hey, what do you know? It's the last Friday of the month. So, Charles Xavier makes his presence known throughout the battle realm with a bold proposition: recognize mutant autonomy and the sovereignty of their new nation. I'm going to say Krakoa. I don't know if that's right. And you will be rewarded with unimaginable, there we go, medical marvels. Unimpressed by Professor X's message of hope and peace, Iron Man suspects something more sinister lurking below the surface. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Try the first ever Cavalier difficulty. So that is takeaway number one. We have Cavalier difficulty being introduced into the contest in September. I can't believe I'm also saying September already. Two champions rise to unite mutant kind. Professor X has been officially confirmed. And normally, that would be the takeaway, right? We would just talk about how Professor X is confirmed, and that's so exciting. But that's not why people are messaging me. And you'll know why in a second if you don't already know. Of course, I'm sure I'll put something in the title just to let people know immediately aware. Okay, those who defy the nation must enter the mindscape and face Professor X in the duel of mental strength. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, and by the way, after conquesting is the right way to say that. The Earth for many millennia, Apocalypse used celestial technology. So we have Apocalypse officially discussed. Find out more about these two titans of mutantdom in their spotlights when they land next week. Okay, so that's huge news, right? But it's not. We've already talked about the pirate poll. We're not going to use this time around. It's not the big takeaway. Okay, Magneto realizes his true power. It's time to revamp another leader of the fight for mutant kind, the master of magnetism and both friend and foe of the X-Men Magneto. Both Magneto and the newly renamed Magneto House of X receive a total kit overhaul with this release. Magneto shows his villainous side and will focus on punishing metal champions, while the redeemed Magneto House of X focuses on empowering metal champions and heroes on his team. So, we've got the champion spotlight of Magneto and Magneto House of X. Lay the smackdown on the Omega Boss Rush. Blah, blah, blah. Sell from stash to help with inventory management. This long requested quality of life improvement is here. Summoners can now sell items directly from their stash. No more making room in your inventory just to claim and then sell. That's awesome. Okay. Look at this closely. This is where we're going to spend the majority of this video, because this is why people are freaking out. Champion tag filter. Summoners will now be able to sort their champions by tag on the champions page. Why does that matter? Okay, by the way, Act 6 adjustments. We've got some more nerfing of Act 6. Quest 1 through Quest 6. 200% attack buff. Quest 2 and 3, 700% health. Chapter 4, 300% attack. Bug fixes and improvements. All right, Elsa, Hitmonkey, Hood and Storm. Kamala Khan, updated info page to specify that 3+ Furies or special attacks nullify 2 of any buffs on the opponent and not just armor up. That could be a pretty big buff to her. We'll see. Sweeto will be my man on that as always. He is the Satan herself MVP. Sorcerer Supreme, blah, blah, blah. War Machine. Here we go. Added the metal tag to Annihilus, which will be better when you fight Annihilus, but Corvus as well. Heimdall, Hulk Ragnarok, Nova, Proxima Midnight, Ronan, Taskmaster, Thanos, Thor, and Thor, Jane Foster. Because if Satan's sister was not bad before, why make her worse? Okay. This is going to be huge for those of you, like myself, who use Corvus every day, because he is now going to be, you would think, a bad counter for Magneto. Now, if you have somebody else to fight him, whether it be an Alliance quest, Alliance War, regular questing, etc., shouldn't be a problem. But I think the reason why this is shady is that these champions have been around for a long, long time. Corvus and Prox have been around for what, over 2 years now? And so adding a metal tag so late in the game just makes it look as if they're trying to nerf champions in certain settings but do a workaround so they don't have to give compensation or really own up to it at all. To me, a tag should be something, especially if it's been around like the metal tag has been for a while, it should be something that's applied immediately, and if the champion doesn't have the tag, then you aren't just going to retroactively add the tag in later. This was part of the discussion when suddenly you had people like Proxima Midnight who you had like the Thanos army discussion, and so that took the place of the villain tag, so you couldn't have Blade be as effective against these defenders, for example. So there's been a large amount of discussion about this kind of topic for years now. Personally, I think the anger over retroactively giving older champions a metal tag just for the sake of either, I guess, buffing them if you're using one Magneto or nerfing them in the other is a bad idea. I think that this is not going to be something that is a good precedent for future champions, because if you can at any time give somebody a new tag that makes them worse in certain matchups, it just hurts their utility. Now, obviously, somebody like Corvus is still going to have incredible utility in so many situations, unless you're fighting somebody like Mr. Sinister. But at the same time, it's shady. Is it the shadiest thing they've ever done? Not even close. But it's still something that they're kind of like throwing in at the end. Oh, by the way, Gwenpool's no longer metal, which I thought, okay, Corvus is metal because maybe he uses that huge spear-looking thing. I'm sure there's a better name for it that I'm just blanking on. But Gwenpool also has some metal with what she fights for, so I don't know why that was removed. But you'll just notice toward the bottom of these patch notes, this is where Kabam kind of like just kind of throws in the most controversial stuff, almost hoping we won't read it. Updated description of slow for champs and nodes. This is to specify if it reduces the ability accuracy of unstoppable and evade effects by a certain percentage. Fixed an issue where certain champions KO'd against the wall without causing it to explode. That sounds like an internet phrase. I also have no idea what that means, but I'm sure many of you do. I just think this sets a bad precedent. I think it's something that Kabam needs to address head on, because the concern, if the last 20 minutes of what I received message-wise is any indication, a lot of people are going to be upset over this. And I do think there's going to be some cases where it benefits people. I mean, I hate fighting a Nihilus. If I can bring my Magneto in against a Nihilus and make it an easier fight, and I can parry more reliably, for example, I'm happy with that. But the Corvus, anytime Corvus is mentioned in anything, it's a very touchy subject, and for good reason with the community, and I think today is going to be one of those cases. Well, let's end this video here. I don't want it to be some 10-minute rant, but at the same time, I really want your input. I'm sure there will be some people who say this is no big deal, stop overreacting, stop complaining, get good, or get wrecked. But there's also going to be a lot of people, based off of the feedback I've already received in this first hour this is live, that have a problem with this, and I can understand why. Where do you fall on the spectrum? Do you have a problem with it? Do you think it's no big deal? Or are you happy with it? Comment below, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching and supporting my Marvel Contest of Champions YouTube channel. Happy Friday, everybody.